In this video, we're going to tackle a concept called order of operations. And order of operations comes into play when you have big strings of problems like this guy down here. There's a lot of pieces going on here with pluses, minuses, times, and we kind of have to have an agreed upon way that we do this problem. Because one person might be like, well, I'm going to do the subtraction first. Oh, I'm going to do the exponent first. It's not always clear, or it wouldn't have been clear if it's just do your own, whatever you feel like. So we kind of agreed on, as just like everybody who does math, kind of agreed on a set order of operations that we use. And you've probably heard this before, but the kind of mnemonic or the way to remember the order of operations is either please excuse my dear Aunt Sally or PEMDAS, depending on how you were taught it. And I'm going to write that out right here. But I don't care for PEMDAS and dear Aunt Sally for one big reason, two parts to it. When you write out your PEMDAS, I'll explain what these letters mean in a little bit. Notice I put my M and D on the same line and my A and S on the same line. So I'll come back to that. Let me tell you what all the letters mean first, if you've forgotten. P stands for parentheses. So the first thing you do in any problem is parentheses, if they give you some. So we're talking about parentheses. It could also be brackets. So if you have like little square brackets in a problem like this, and there's like a 2 plus 4 on the inside, those work the same way as parentheses. Just grouping symbols where you're putting stuff inside of it is what you do first. E stands for exponents. MD is multiply and divide. And AS is add, subtracts. Now again, the reason I like writing it like this as opposed to just in one straight line is because multiply, if you write it the old way where you do just everything on one line, PEMDAS like this, people get the mistaken impression from this that multiplication happens before division and that addition happens before subtraction. Actually, multiplying and dividing tie, as do adding and subtracting. When you have those in a problem, you just do whichever one comes first, left to right, like you would read. So I'll show you how that plays out in a few examples here. So on this problem, we have 2 minus 4 plus 7 times 2 squared. Running through my order of operations, no parentheses to worry about here. I do have an exponent though, so that's going to happen first. And I'm actually going to rewrite my problem, tedious though it may be, because it'll make you a lot less likely to make mistakes. 2 squared here is 4. Next up, I look through again, no more exponents. Multiplying, dividing, I do have a multiplication sign, so I'm going to do my 7 times 4 next. Carry down the rest of it, still 2 minus 4. 7 times 4, so we get plus 28. Now when you get to here, we have S and we have A. Those tie. A is not going to automatically beat subtraction. So we just go left to right. So the first thing I come across is 2 minus 4, which is negative 2. And negative 2 plus 28, my answer to this problem is 26. So, I have 2 more problems here that I'm going to work through. If you feel like you got the idea, you can go ahead and pause the video, like before, and try them out for yourself. On my next one, though, I have parentheses in my problem. I'm going to do those first. And inside those parentheses, I have minus and negative. Remember, don't like double signs. That's going to turn into just negative 4 plus 2. And negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. So I have negative 2 plus 6 squared divided by 4. Once you're down to just a single number inside parentheses like this, you really don't even need the parentheses anymore. They kind of go away. So if it's just negative 2, I'll rewrite it over here. I get negative 2 plus 6 squared divided by 4. I do my exponent next. Negative 2 plus 6 squared is 36 divided by 4. 36 divided by 4 is 9, so I have negative 2 plus 9. My answer is 7. And on my last problem here, when you see a big fraction, like you do right here, we have a numerator and a denominator. Treat your numerator and denominator like 2 totally separate problems. So I'm going to deal with just my top for a second, ignore that bottom part that I've covered up, and I'm going to do the same thing right here. Treat them like separate problems and deal with it later. So up top, 10 minus 2 times 3, so that's 10 minus 6. My top is just a 4. I ignored the bottom altogether, I just did the top part, got 4. So, on my bottom here, my parentheses, 8 divided by 2 is 4. So I really have 4 to the 3rd power, which is 64. Now 4 over 64 is not a whole number answer. You could give me a decimal, you could leave it like this, but it's also nice to reduce the fraction if you can. Reducing the fraction basically means find a number that goes into top and bottom and divide both parts by that. So if I divide top and bottom by 4, I end up with 1 over 16 for my reduced answer.